Razzi will now present the colors, and I invite all of you to please stand as you are able for the performance of our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. Thank you. Please be seated. Our first performances this evening will be given by our 5th grade students. All of our performing groups have prepared 2 numbers for you tonight. The 5th grade orchestra students will be performing March, arranged by Jim O'Brien, and Clockwork by Adrian Gordon. If you listen carefully to Clockwork, you will hear not only their instruments, but also clicking sounds and left-hand pizzicato that imitates a magnificent grandfather clock. For me, 5th grade was the year I finally had the courage to audition to be in my school's choir, which ultimately set me on a path that led to a career in music. I was fortunate to have a team of caring music educators who nurtured my interest at such an impressionable age, especially Mrs. Berg, who was my music teacher for 4 years. Let me take a moment now to introduce you to our amazing 5th grade teachers. Please hold your applause until the conclusion of this long and impressive list. Jared Bailey, Brad Barwell, Aaron Clark, Doug Edwards, Evelyn Gilbert, Terry Glassford, Harry Kelly, Lori Lydeen, Sarah Maglaby, Kelly McFadden, Megan Miller, Shannon O'Laughlin, Ruby Perez, Michelle Pyatt, Matthew Remke, Holly Trineman, and Corey Williamson. Please enjoy the next 2 selections by our 5th grade orchestra students. Congratulations, fifth graders. That was fantastic. We're so proud of you and the work that you've done. You know, if you were to hand me your instrument right now, violin, viola, cello, or bass, I could not play what you just performed. I would not be capable of doing what you just did. I'm so proud of the work that you've done, and I hope that you will continue with your orchestra studies when you move to middle school and when you get to high school. And that's partly why we have the festival tonight, is to showcase the different levels that are available to students, and for us to hear how that skill set expands over time. Next, we'll hear from our middle school orchestras. Their directors are Fiona Estrelado, Terry Glassford, Erica Vipond, and Ryan Williamson. Our sixth grade students will be playing Medieval Kings by Soon Hee Newbold and Lost Island by Catherine Greisinger. Lost Island is an adventurous sounding piece written in a minor key. There are many accents throughout and an overall energy that really highlights their musical skills. Performing for us now, two selections, are sixth grade orchestra musicians. When I entered 7th grade, my friends and I found ourselves with a brand new choir teacher. Little did I know that Mrs. Watson would be with me for the next 6 years through my high school graduation, becoming my favorite teacher who had a really big influence on my life. Our 7th graders will now perform 2 selections, Night Ride by Deborah Baker Monday and Double Agent by Brian Balmages. Double Agent is a highly rhythmic piece of music that seems like it's straight out of a soundtrack from a movie. Ladies and gentlemen, here are our 6th grade orchestra musicians performing Night Ride and Double Agent. 7, thank you. Got it. What's really incredible to me about the preparations that the students undergo for this festival, all of our students have prepared the material in their own buildings. And these big combined groups that you're seeing tonight, it sounds like they've been playing together for years, but they only had 1 hour of rehearsal each. 1 hour of combined rehearsal to bring all of these different buildings together so that you can have this festival experience. For me as a fellow musician, that is really incredible. Congratulations to our students for making this all happen in a really short amount of time. Last but not least of our middle school orchestra musicians, our 8th graders have prepared 2 selections. Dance of the Samodivi by Sunhi Newbold, which portrays the woodland fairies of Eastern European folklore. They'll also play a selection called Wood Splitter Fanfare by Brian Balmages. This piece is based on a real-life experience of the composer who witnessed a student drop and completely split the wood of their viola right as they lifted into playing position. Where are the violas? Can you imagine that happening? Right before you go to play, you drop your instrument and the whole thing breaks. Terrifying, right? Even though this particular student's viola was no longer playable, she bravely kept calm with her broken viola in her lap until someone handed her another viola and she was able to finish the performance with the orchestra. This student's ability to problem solve and keep her focus inspired the composer to write this piece that you're about to hear. You can definitely feel the emotion and almost see the story unfold as you listen to our 8th graders perform, starting with Dance of the Samodivi and then Wood Splitter Fanfare. Ladies and gentlemen, our 8th grade orchestra musicians. Thank you again to all of our middle school orchestra musicians, sixth graders, seventh graders, and eighth graders. We hope all of you will continue your musical journey as you move into high school, the ensembles that we will hear next. By the time I got to high school, I decided I should probably learn how to play an instrument if I was going to be a well-rounded music teacher. After having sung in choirs for many years, I was afraid that I was too far behind all the other students in instrumental ensembles and that I wouldn't be successful. Thankfully, my high school orchestra teacher, Mr. Varga, and my high school band teacher, Mr. Myers, saw something in me and encouraged me to work hard. I later went on to study music education in college and received my K-12 music teaching certificate. Let me introduce you now to our last group of teachers that lead our high school orchestras, Jeremy Bennett, Dr. Joshua Lindberg, and John Miller. The high school students will also play two selections, the first being Russian Sailor's Dance by Reinhold Glier, arranged by Andrew Balent, and Warrior Legacy by Soon-Hee Newbold. Ladies and gentlemen, our high school orchestra musicians. Although most of my work now is in the nonprofit sector of our industry, working with a lot of adult ensembles, I too was a middle school and high school music teacher for many years at the beginning of my career. I understand firsthand the work and the dedication that it takes to be a committed music teacher, to make yourself available long hours, well after the workday and sometimes the work week has ended. Even today in 2025, our industry often faces a lot of challenges, that the work we do may not be considered as valuable as other programs, that the work we do is often underfunded, and that we learn to operate on shoestring budgets. Before we proceed with our grand finale, I want to take a moment to sincerely thank all of the music educators who have worked to prepare the students not just for tonight's festival, but hopefully for a lifelong love of music making once they graduate from high school. Whether they make a career out of music or not, understanding that there is an opportunity to continue to be in ensembles and to continue to receive that joy and satisfaction of making music with other people. It's something so special, it's hard to talk about, but it's something that I myself have committed my career to. Thank you to all of our music teachers for the amazing work they do every day in our Kennewick School District. It also takes a committed team of administration, building vice principals, principals, assistant superintendents, a superintendent that see the value in music programming, that are willing to find the budgets to allow us to do the amazing things that we do in our classrooms every day. This is a team that works together. If you are an administrator of any level in Kennewick School District, would you please stand so that we can thank you for allowing events like this 42nd annual Orchestra Festival to happen. Let's thank any of our district administration that are here with us tonight. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the grand finale, our 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and high school students will all perform together the piece America as one combined ensemble, showing once again that we are united as a district and united in the joy we find through music. Ladies and gentlemen, the combined ensembles will now present America. We are so appreciative of you, our audience, of family, of friends, for joining us and showing your support for our Kennewick School District orchestra programs. Please, audience members, continue to encourage these children to study music, and you be an advocate for music instruction in your child's building. The world needs beauty and artistic bridges that unite us as a people. Congratulations again to all of our student performers and their dedicated team of music teachers. Our students will be exiting the side of the Toyota Center, ready to join their families. That's it, right? We hope to see all of you at upcoming school concerts and music-related events throughout the district. Thank you and good night.